The phone exploded with my mom's voice, a storm tearing through the stillness of my apartment. "You're a disgrace of a daughter," she bellowed. I froze, clutching the phone like it might bite. My heart thudding against my ribs. "What are you talking about?" I managed, voice shaky. "You know what I mean," she snapped, venom dripping from every word. "After everything I've done for you. You couldn't even spring for first class on this trip? What kind of kid treats their mother like that?" I gripped the kitchen counter, knuckles whitening, forcing air into my lungs. "Mom," I said. Steady as I could, I paid for the whole trip. Flights, hotels, tours, everything. Do you have any idea how much I poured into this? Her scoff cut through me like a blade. "And yet you couldn't do this one tiny thing to make it special. Honestly, Lila, I don't know what's wrong with you." Sophie would have done it without blinking. "My name's Lila. And for as long as I can remember, my mom's made me feel like I'm chasing a finish line that keeps moving. I was the good kid, straight A's, a solid marketing gig. A savings account built brick by brick. Sophie, though? She was the sun in Mom's sky, charming, carefree, effortlessly loved. This Europe trip wasn't just a vacation, it was my olive branch. My grand gesture to say, "See, Mom? I care." I'd saved for years, skipped beach weekends, said no to drinks with friends, lived lean to craft her dream escape. Flights, luxe hotels, guided tours, tickets to operas she'd rambled about since I was a kid. I thought it had finally bridged the canyon between us. Instead, it was just another shovel to dig it deeper. "Mom," I said. Voice tight but calm, "I thought you'd love it. It's an incredible itinerary." "Not in coach, I won't," she spat. Her words landed like a slap, but I swallowed the sting. "Well, I hope you enjoy it anyway," I said, hanging up before my tongue could betray me. Later, at the airport drop-off, her parting shot sliced clean through. "Maybe if you ever grow up, you'll learn how to treat people right," she said, storming off without a backward glance. Driving home, her voice looped in my skull, sharp, relentless. But as I parked, something snapped into focus. If she thought I was a rotten daughter, maybe it was time to show her just how wrong she was. Back in my apartment, her words gnawed at me. "Grow up." I sank onto the couch, staring at nothing. A lump rising in my throat. I shoved it down, no tears, not for this. I'd bled effort into that trip, years of no to myself so she could have her, yes. I wanted her to see me, maybe even be proud. Instead, she'd flung it back in my face. This wasn't new, my whole life, she'd turned my wins into losses. Aced a test? Why not perfect? Got a raise? Sophie would have climbed higher. Sophie. Always Sophie, the golden girl who floated through life while I scrambled to keep up. This trip was supposed to change that. My big, shining proof of love. Instead, it was her latest ammo. I flipped open my laptop, the flight confirmation glaring back, 2 economy tickets, meticulously picked for comfort on a budget. For a wild second, I imagined torching it all, cancel the trip. Let it crash. But the deposits were locked, the effort too deep to waste. Then I saw it. Manage booking. One little blue button. Canceling her return flight? Free. She'd get her dream trip. But the way back, that was on her. My finger hovered. Was this petty? Cruel? "You're selfish," her voice sneered in my head. The hesitation evaporated. Click. Confirmation pinged my inbox, return flight gone. For the first time in forever, I felt the reins in my hands. The next few days blurred by, her trip humming in the background like static. No call when she landed, typical. Instead, she lit up social media with her European adventure. First post, her beaming outside Paris Charles de Gaulle, caption screaming, "Living the dream." I smirked, setting my phone down. She kept it up. Snaps of the hotel's marble lobby, cobblestone streets, plates of escargot she'd staged for the gram. Captions gushed gratitude. But I knew the game. No tags for me after that first post, just smug little jabs wrapped in glitter. By day 4, she posted a video from a sane dinner cruise, glass raised. Trip of a lifetime. She cooed. I wasn't scrolling for fun anymore, I was waiting. Every photo tightened the coil. She had no clue what was coming. Would she rage at the airline? Call me sobbing? Didn't matter. She'd face it solo. The night before her return, Sophie texted, "Mom's blowing up my phone about how amazing this trip is. Said you helped." I stared, debating. Sophie didn't know the half of it, the canceled flight, the years of scars. "Glad she's having fun," I tapped back, smirking. The real show was hours away. Return day hit. and my stomach buzzed with nerves and a twisted thrill. Around noon my phone lit up, Mom. I braced myself. Lila, she hissed, panic slicing her tone. Why's my flight canceled? I bit back a grin. What do you mean? I asked, all innocent. Don't play dumb, she snapped. They say my ticket's gone. What's happening? Oh, that, I said, cool as ice. Yeah, I canceled it. Her gasp was pure gold. You what? Why? Because, Mom, I said, slow and steady, I wanted you to feel what it's like to be hung out to dry. You called me a horrible daughter after I busted my ass for you. I'm done. What are you talking about? She sputtered, softer now. You said it, I shot back. After I saved for years. Planned every detail, you trashed me. You've done it my whole life. I'm not your punching bag anymore. Silence stretched. Then she sighed, exasperated. Lila, you're overreacting. I didn't mean it like that. Didn't mean it? I laughed sharp. You meant every word. So no, I'm not overreacting. I'm finished. Finished. Her voice spiked. You're leaving me stranded? You're not stranded, I said flat. Book a flight. Call Sophie. Figure it out. Not my mess. Her tone flipped to a plea. Lila, please. I can't afford a ticket. How could you do this? I'm your mother. I let it hang, then hit back. Figure it out, Mom. You've always told me to grow up. Now it's your turn. Click. Phone down. My pulse raced, but a quiet fire glowed inside. I wasn't bending anymore. The onslaught came fast, voicemails, texts, a barrage of guilt. Lila, you can't leave me here, one wailed. I'm humiliated. Explaining to airline staff why my flight's gone. Texts whined, how could you abandon your own mother? I didn't flinch. By afternoon, she softened. I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean it. Help me home. Please. Was it real? Or just her old tricks? Tough to tell after decades of her push-pull. Guilt flickered. She was my mom, flawed as hell but mine. Then her airport jab replayed, grow up. Guilt snuffed out. By night, she was unraveling. I'm on a bench at the airport. No way home. Please, I'm begging. I almost caved, almost. But this wasn't just a flight. It was years of her grinding me down. I texted Sophie, Mom stuck. Help if you want. I'm out. Sophie called instantly. Lila, what's up? Mom says you canceled her ticket. Yep, I said, calm. She trashed me after I funded her dream trip. I'm done. Sophie sighed. I get it, but isn't this extreme? No, I said. It's just right. Next morning, silence. Had she sorted it? Had Sophie swooped in? I didn't check. Then a text. Lila, I've hurt you. I've been unfair. I just want to come home. Please. It hit different, raw, real. Was it? I'd heard sorry before. Only for her to backslide. But this felt heavier. I typed slow, Mom, I'll get you a flight. Last time. Treat me right, or don't expect me to keep saving you. Her reply flew back. Thank you. I'll do better. Promise. I booked it, not for her, for me. Closure on my terms. 2 days later, I waited at arrivals. Could have let her cab it, but I needed to see her face. She shuffled out slower. Less cocky, clutching her bag like a lifeline. Her eyes tired, maybe humbled, met mine. Hi, Mom, I said. Hi, she murmured, unsure. The drive was thick with quiet till she broke it. Lila. I owe you an apology. I glanced over, stunned. Her voice was soft, real. For how I treated you. You've always taken care of me and I never saw it. I'm sorry. I blinked. This wasn't her usual half-baked oops. Thanks, I said, guarded. I mean it, she pressed. That trip getting stuck, it hit me. You've bailed me out so much and I didn't deserve it. Canceling that flight? I had it coming. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to trust it. Part of me braced for the catch. I'm glad you get it, I settled on. She nodded. Staring out the window. I can't erase the past, but I want to try for you. At her place, she paused. Thanks, Lila. For the trip, the flight, for dealing with me. I know I'm a handful. I nodded. You're welcome. But it's different now. Equal terms or I'm out. She smiled, faint but warm. Fair enough. Driving off, a weight lifted, not gone, but lighter. I'd drawn the line and she'd felt it. Weeks later, things shifted. No constant calls, no guilt trips. When she rang, it was nice. No barbs, just talk. She slipped sometimes, a snarky dig here, a jab there, but I'd call it out. calm and firm. Sorry, she'd mutter, catching herself. Small but huge. I turned inward. 2 friends' hobbies, a trip for me. Sophie noticed. You did good, she said over dinner. Mom needed that jolt. She's better for it. One night, Mom called, voice quiet. Lila, I've been thinking. You've done so much and I never said thanks enough. I mean it now. It landed soft, true. You're welcome, I said, smiling. No tension, just a threat of something new. Not perfect, but a start. I'd stood tall, not for her, but for me. That was enough. Months on. I sipped tea on my balcony, sunset painting the sky. Mom called weekly now, asking about me, not just her. I've taken you for granted, she said once. I want us to be better. If you'll let me try. I paused then. Thanks, Mom. I'd like that. It wasn't flawless, but it didn't need to be. I'd found my worth, not in her eyes but mine. And that was everything.